let's finish that sauce. The only thing you got to remember when it comes to the sauce is equal parts, okay? Equal parts of heavy cream to the base. Oh, you're killing me. So it doesn't matter that the recipe says you got to have 2 cups and you got to finish this sauce out. You want to make only enough for yourself. Now what we're going to do, we're going to reduce this and simmer it by half. So that's the easy thing to remember. So if you need 4 ounces, then you just put 4 ounces of each thing into your pot to reduce the consistency. Okay, so let's make, let me rinse this off real quick. Let's make a little quick sauce. So we're going to do, for our purposes, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the base. And then my heavy cream, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it is nice because heavy cream ain't cheap to begin with. So you don't have to be putting all your eggs into one basket, so to speak. Now I want you to really clue into this, to the look of this sauce right now, okay? See how light that color is. You saw where we started? We added in, you know, our heavy cream, and so obviously we're right in the center, because a big way to tell when the sauce is ready is 2 things. One is this word nappe that we'll talk about later, and the other thing is flat out just the color now, okay? Now, just like before, where that thing was spitting off the impurities, this thing is now going to do the same thing, okay? And you always see that thing where pots of cream and milk are always coming off to the top. Well, the reason that happens is because people don't skim the scum off of a cream sauce, and they tend to keep this heat so high. So with a simmer, because that's what we're going to do here, is we're going to simmer, all right? See, we were here, and now we're going down here, okay? Because when we simmer, that's gentle, all right? When you boil pasta, you boil a green vegetable, you simmer a sauce. And a simmering process is a thing of gentleness. Now, let's take a look in here, because, see, there it is. There's those impurities again. So I'm going to just, with my ladle here, tuck underneath it and try to get those. And you can see how my simmer has toned down. Come back to it. Beautiful. And in this brief period of time, I'm already seeing the color deepen, because this is what's going to happen. The color is going to darken, and it's going to get richer. And it'll get closer, not quite as dark as this, but it's going to come closer to that. See that? There's that scum. Pop right underneath. And you can see that when I did that, you can now see how this simmer, where before it was getting ready to start popping over the top, I got rid of that scum, and now look, I have a very controlled simmer. This thing is not going to boil over as long as I keep coming back, and see, there it's coming up again. Okay? So you just want to help this thing. I always say sauces want to be saints. They want to be pure. So you want to just kind of help it along. Now, I want you to see something that I want you to be aware of now. Notice here on the side of the pot. Notice how dark that's getting, okay? Because the pot up here is still hot, all right? I mean, you got a heating element. It ain't just the sauce that's hot. This is getting hot. And as it darkens, what we're worried about is it possibly burning on the side. If it burns on the side, it can fall back into the sauce, and burnt is bitter, okay? And bitter is the one flavor that we're not after. So what I do is, because obviously there's a hot spot going here, but if you look on the other side of my pot, see that? No darkening. Darkening. So I want to just kind of, so obviously this is a little bit gentler side, so I'm just going to move my pot around and put that into a better spot. And there it is again, okay? There it is again. So we've got simmer, low heat, skimming consistently. Once again, getting richer. getting darker. And even though we're at a pretty nice, I mean, this is a hard simmer, okay? I would not call this a gentle simmer. This is a hard simmer, but the motion, and you can see, this is what's called a convection. You can almost see how it's moving in a circle. It's coming down upon itself into that spot. That's what a sauce will naturally do by setting it off center against that. So in a sense, it's emulsifying back in. The other thing we're going to look for is texture. Okay, texture is what it's all about, especially when there's cream in a sauce, because we're looking for silk, we're looking for sexiness, if you will, on the palate. So that is by getting super, super creamy and getting that coating on the tongue. And the way that you go about figuring out whether or not you've achieved this, because it's called nappe. And you see that word, nappe, N-A-P-E. All it means is to coat the back of a spoon. Okay, so if I can dip this in, see how it's pretty much still running off the side there. See, still thickness here, and it's thinning out over the top. So we're not quite at nappe, but we're getting there. You know, you can see on that spoon there is some coating, but I can still see through a lot of it. So not quite, okay? We're very close, but not quite. Make sure your spoon is clean each time, please. And the point is to stick around. Don't walk away. Don't go do the laundry, okay? Don't change the kid's diaper right now, okay? Stay right here until you get to the point where it's completely finished. Then we can set it aside and move on to something else. Now, gently. Because another way we can tell, I mean, just by looking at it, if we look and you get in there, you're starting to see also now the size of the bubbles are getting larger. As the sauce reduces and as there's more of a concentration of fat, because what's happening when we simmer is the steam is water. So the water is disappearing. When the water disappears, the ratios become more in favor of the fat, which gives that thickness and also intensifies that flavor. And as it does that, those little bubbles that are forming, it's almost like they're filling balloons. And the stronger that the balloon is, the bigger the bubble's going to get. So as you begin to see the bubbles getting larger, this is the sauce talking to you and saying, hey, I'm getting real close to being done here, and I want you to be careful and watch out for me, okay? Because it can't do it on its own. And then look, there it is again, okay? There it is. So we want to help this thing along. Okay. And once again, when we get on that split screen, you're going to see how our color is darkened again. Okay, that richness. And it's really looking like it's just ready to coat, because this is the type of thing that you're going to see. We're going to do this with some seared shrimp. And the reason we're concerned with the thickness is because when we hold that shrimp by the tail and we wrap it into that sauce, we want it to coat. We want it to coat that shrimp well, so when we eat it, all our sauce still isn't on the plate. It's in contact with that shrimp. Not like glue, not like super glue, but to a nice nappe. I Got Money says that we are just about there. Okay? See how those bubbles bigger. So I'm just going to get my spoon in there. See that? That is delicious. Wow. Okay, so that's a nice nappe. And you want to use your best judgment, okay? Trust yourself. When you get to a point where you believe that you've got something that's going to coat your shrimp well, that's going to hold on to the product, whatever it is, that's when you need to stop. Believe in yourself and what you are doing and trust your instincts, okay? All right, now the easiest thing to do, quite honestly, is, see that? We're just going to set that aside.